the smartest guy with a bow tie in Chattanooga, Tennessee, David Tulis.
This is David Tulis, and my number is 800-8949, 800-8949. I argue for local economy, for the cash economy, for the diversified and decentralized internet tech economy, for free markets, and the end of cartels. Cartels and monopolies invariably are state actors. They invariably have some special benefit or privilege that they've been granted in the law, in the statute. And so they rumble on through decade after decade, outdated entirely by the free market all around it. And the patrons, say, of public schools, don't realize that there's a free market in education, that there is a technological advance that has made obsolete the institution that they love and cherish, and that with which they identify, into which their children went, from which their grandparents came. In fact, you have people in neighborhoods in Chattanooga who've lived there their whole lives, and their grandparents went to a particular Hamilton County or Chattanooga school, and that is just part of life. That's part of the way things are done here in our city. And these are fabled names, right? Fabled old high schools where people who are now very gray got their math and their civics. And on whose football teams they played, and whose pom poms they waved at games back in the 1930s. Well, this is David Tulis, and I'd like to argue for local economy and free market, and that's what I try to do. And I'm looking at interferences with interventions against that free market, and that's part of my job in the press. Which is to serve a public interest. That is to say, the interest of the people at large. Though I know Walter Lippmann called the word public a pure figment. You know, it comes from Rousseau, the French idealist philosopher, who posited that the state sort of represents the will of the people. Right? It's Marx picked up on that, so did Lenin, and others. And the public is a fiction. It is a fiction, just like, well, Tennessee is a legal fiction. It doesn't actually exist. There is no person of Tennessee. There is no individual of Tennessee. It is a corporation, a religious corporation with all kinds of claims and many, many ministries. It is a religious corporation that is seeking the salvation of its people. As one of the German philosophers, Hegel, said, the state is God walking on the earth. And we have many of them today. And they are, in many ways, in a period of more visible senescence, right? They are losing their marbles. They're losing their wherewithal to think and to be coherent. I have an ancient mother with whom I have breakfast every morning, and she doesn't quite know what I do at age 94. When I tell her, well, Mom, I'm going to work today, she knows that much, and I say, well, I'm going to the studio. She squints at me suspiciously as her hot toast cools with the strawberry jam and butter on it. She looks at me, studio? Well, what? And I said, well, Mom, I work. She didn't know, and she was a little concerned that I hadn't told her before that I'm in the radio business. And here I say, well, Mom, what about your supplements? Here they are from yesterday's batch. But I have on her plate also, in addition to the bread, which is being nibbled down to the crust, I have an egg, and also next to it the supplements from the day before, which she did not eat. And so I insist, well, you have to have the egg because it's protein. And I removed from her the half a banana that was on her plate, since I know she's not going to eat that, in addition to the supplements. And so she's not quite sure she has to take this many supplements, and she looks at the little plate there, and they just seem like so many. She's never had that many before. Now, why is her son making her take these? It's all new to her, and she remembers some things from her girlhood, but some of the present things, she's not she doesn't have a deep memory of them. Though she's so full of goodwill to me, her son And who's that woman at your house? That's of course Jeanette, my wife, and so she's not quite sure who that is, and I've even had to tell that I'm only married to one woman, Mom, and so these are kind of delights of being a senior, where things are new and things are fresh, and patterns are not clear yet. They're not quite clear, and so we have to just live a new day, thanks to God, for life and breath, and let's make the best of it. And I will read my Wall Street Journal and read my printed copy of the Chattanooga Times Free Press there on her left. Usually there's her yellow tray on the table where I put the paper. So I always bang the tray up on the table toward the wall, over which hangs a fabulous painting from my brother, an artist. And I lay the paper down, and she sits there and looks at it, and she's always asking me what's new. My mother also asking, what's new in politics? And she asked that question because she wants me to know that she's with it and she's current. And she's not asking about what's new in technology, what's new in economics, what's new in government, but what's new in politics. She's always asking me that question. And sometimes I'm very hard pressed to say, because I know there's a national narrative, and I let other hosts deal with that, and other writers deal with those things, and I focus on the local. So when I say, well, Mom, there's something about the mayor, or there's something about a big criminal bust yesterday. These are politics in a way, and yet somehow they just seem beneath her notice. Because I would have to explain everything that is local. So I'll say, well, President Trump is doing this, or President Trump fired somebody, and she looks at me. She'd read the paper cover to cover, and had not quite picked up on that story, and the whole Google and Facebook story. She's not sure what those are, but they're important, and so she's going to read those stories about search engines, search engines and social media, and so this is my morning, and I am a loco-centric, Dr. Nougat-centric. They could say Dr. Nougat-centrist. The idea being that Chattanooga is the center of the universe, and I have the editing of Tip O'Neill's comment about thinking globally and acting locally. I think we should act locally and think locally as well, knowing that we live in a vast free market, the internet, bringing new liberties, destroying old systems, old order systems, decentralizing almost everything. Decentralization is coming in strength into many areas, including billboards. If you want me to get you on a billboard, just contact me, or contact Sam Jordan or Jen Lambert on our sales staff here at Nougat Radio, and they can get you on a billboard. We have access to 15 billboards now, and so let Nougat Radio help you get your message out. So even there, the old guard industry of billboards, with its fabulous, $1,500 to $2,000 per month rental, being overturned by the LED models, which are brighter and which rotate their messages. So even there, in that formerly hidebound field, there is decentralization. We want decentralization to come into the educational sector, but if we read the story by Andy Scher in the morning edition, as I did this morning at the table with my dear mother, I think, why are we continuing to centralize things? Why do we have a governor who doesn't realize that we have PDFs, right? If you are a governor, and though you have a constitutional provision that creates a public school, a free public school, why are you continuing in this line of thinking if we have PDFs, if we have Khan Academy, we have YouTube, and we have a myriad of platforms where so much is available for free? Just go to a publishing web platform like ScribeD or Gutenberg. Many books, classical books, are available online. You can print them out. You can read them on your screen. You can read them on your phone. And so favorite authors such as Garrett, one of my favorites. I can read the volumes that I don't own in print online. And how is it now that we have a system that costs $10,000 per student per year? We have gigantic expenses on infrastructure, roofs and sidewalks, new heating units. We have the school board at its last meeting ordering 13 vehicles. We have great expense on the taxpayer for a system which presumes just the opposite of what is the real world and the real market. The real world and real market say information, knowledge, wisdom, and analysis is widespread, easily available, and we don't have to have anything filtered by state employees who are certified by having degrees from in Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Arts degrees from UT's College of Education. Why do people have mind-numbing protocol of getting a bachelor's degree where your brain is trained to turn itself off, right? That you're supposed to turn off your brain to get that degree. It is a form of submission to the state and state protocols and state theories about childhood and learning and so on. You get that degree and you are on the state payroll. You can even enter the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System, TCRS, the state's sovereign wealth fund, right? That is a wealth fund bigger than the state itself, more richer than the state itself. And all employees of state government and even nonprofit organizations, police benevolences, and all kinds of groups are part of that system. That all highly centralized, highly capital intensive, largely connected to land and brick, and a continuing drain upon you, my listener, through Hamilton County, with its tax claims upon the property ownership of property. Governor Haslam in Andy's story is talking about securing schools. He says all children in Tennessee deserve to learn in a safe and secure environment. You know, press release talk is all the same quality of talk. It's all qualitative. And what PR people should do is try to write these press statements as if, how would Governor Haslam actually said it, right? Make it in his words, not these very polished full sentences. All children in Tennessee deserve to learn in a safe and secure environment. No one would actually say it that way. And I appreciate the efficient and thorough work of the School Safety Working Group. This is from a news release. The recommendations of the working group, coupled with increased investment, meaning more taxpayer outlays, provide a path, he says, for making immediate, impactful, and unprecedented security improvements. Okay, that's a phrase that the young PR flack in the governor's office was really proud of. Unprecedented security improvements in our schools, and also lay the groundwork for longer-term actions for training, drills, and mental health support. All that. Now, these sentences are part of the marketing that is the press itself, but it's also, of course, government and schooling. Ivan Illich said probably famously that schooling is marketing for the way things are, and the governor's press releases are kind of marketing for the way things are. We can't change. We can't suddenly stop doing what we're doing. And stopping doing what we're doing is part of what I think you, my listeners, should be about. You should be about thinking, what can we do to get past where we are as a city? I'm a resident of this city. I want to improve myself. I want to improve my estate. I want to have more of an inheritance. I want my business to prosper. I want my ideas to be reflected in the lives of other people, my good ideas, right? That's why you have children. You have children so that they will think like you, and there will be people like you who have you and your wife's thinking, or you and your husband's thinking out in the larger world. That's why people have children, to populate the world and to subdue the whole world through technology, through answers, through society, through science, through innovation, through products, right? Through services and things that save time and save labor and save money. That's what all capitalism is about. Capitalism is about bringing service to people in the way of goods or services. So the school system, as Governor Haslam sees it, is one that we have to continually support. Now we have to support school system from sort of paramilitary threat. Now that is the idea of school massacres is hugely overstated in the press, and we are acting under a scare. It is a scare that your child faces death in the public school. In one sense, I think it's good to take on the exaggeration and promote it, because it does give one more reason why families should not patronize the centralized, out-of-date system. That, of course, is free, right? It's free. The state has put a gun to your head, say, you pay me the property tax, or else your land goes on the courthouse auction block for non-payment of taxes. Give me that money, but now you pay me. Now I'm going to pay for a free school for you. Come on over and take advantage of it. And people just say, well, okay, I guess I'll pay for it. I might as well take advantage of it. We have a kind of an incoherency among our people here in Hamilton County, or among the people. They don't belong to me. They don't really belong to anybody. I'd say but God. Now, I've got a call, and the number to call is 800-8949, 800-8949. And caller, you're live on the air. David Tulis, what's on your mind?
Well, I love this topic, David, and I've been calling for the abolition of government schools since I was in 7th grade attending government schools, seeing the fallacy of the whole system. That's when I started studying at 13, the difference between communism, socialism, Marxism, and liberty. And anyone that claims to be anti-communist or believes we were fighting the Russians in the Cold War cannot be. I look at our system, and it is the exact same duplicate system of Russia and the former Soviet Union and all other socialist countries. And how Americans can say, we're free, yeah, we're different from them, and then allow their children to go to a government school. I couldn't convince my parents of the idea that, even though don't bother sending me to a religious school, and don't bother sending me to a parochial school, because basically they're not that much different than the government institutions of lower learning, other than the fact that they're inundated with Democrats, liberals, and union workers. And that's just nothing against the teachers who work hard and try to educate children to the best that they know how, because they were indoctrinated in the same system. It's beyond me how people are screaming, especially at these school shootings, that no one can protect our kids. If there's any time to close down the government schools, David, it's now. I have the solution. Can I give it to you quickly on how we can
Go
do
ahead.
this thing quickly?
Yes, Mike.
40,000 children attend Hamilton County schools. They're spending, what, $500 million to dump down our children. Not just Hamilton County, but every school system in America. We can take that money and let private institutions bid out. Let's have 100 schools in Hamilton County. That should be the goal for the next 5 years. If we gave 100 schools, not even $1 million a year, to educate, let's say 5,000 children, we have money left over. Or let's say we gave 100 of these private schools, let's divide 500 million by 100. What does that come out to? About $25 million per school? And there's 100 schools that educate 50,000 kids. Or let's make it 200 schools that are private institutions, whereby you can determine, basically, David, these would be similar to homeschooling institutions, to the extent that everyone would be different. Maybe one school would stress mathematics, the other one would stress history and the sciences and the arts, and the other one plumbing. As you get into 9th and 10th grade, maybe electronics, maybe the computer sciences. Can you envision this?
Well, I think that's a wonderful idea. It takes someone who's thinking outside the paradigm of our modern system. Even the Democrat challenger to Mayor Jim Commager is thinking totally within this system and not without of it, outside of it. So we need to have,
in terms of protecting unions,
right?
Protecting the system. They know none of what they speak because they've been indoctrinated into the same Bolshevik, socialist, communist system. The schools what do they look like? Look like prisons. I call David. Want to hear something funny? You call them prisons now. I call them prisons since I was in 7th grade. I was totally bored by the 4th month. I was done with the entire year. I was wasting my time. They were boring me, and I didn't want to go to the next grade because the next grade would bore me. Most of half the time there is just wasted going between rooms. We don't need them anymore with the internet. Everyone works at home. With the internet and the idea, listen, if you want to bus kids, let's break it up to 100 different schools in Hamilton County, run privately, not by a central communist system. Any American, and I told this to my family and I continue to, and none of them listened, because they were indoctrinated into the system. So I thank God for letting me see the light. Anyone that believes that the government school system is the answer to educate our children, or the private school system, or the parochial school system, or the so-called Christian school system is the answer, you're deluding yourself. What you're doing is you're indoctrinating your children to be little slaves. That's what you're doing. Yeah, they're a little safer. Maybe they'll educate a little better, but the system is exactly the same. It's anti-individualistic. And anything
Well, don't forget, Mike.
Is anti-American.
Well, this is David Tulis. We're talking with Mike. Mike, the answer of the private sector is there are groupings in the private sector. You have Christians, you have Catholic, you have Adventists, you have Muslims. They all get together to have their own systems, and those are private associations. Those work. Those reflect market principles, and would give better service to families who can choose where they want to send children if they want to send children out, or they can have private online arrangements as well as tutors. I'm involved in that section. My wife is. This is David Tulis. We need to have free market solutions, not a continuing of our cartels. Rather, a local answer to these problems than answers directed and approved by our betters in Nashville, the good people there and in Washington. I've got some important messages for you, my listener. Here at Nuga Radio.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val, weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nuga Radio, 92.7 FM. Chattanooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's news. Now,
54 alleged gangbangers rounded up in a massive RICO bust. Chattanooga police say that 54 Athens Park Bloods were arrested in the first RICO gang bust ever in Hamilton County. They're charged with a litany of crimes, including murder. Some of the evidence used in the sweeping arrests date back to 2014 when the Violence Reduction Initiative was first introduced. The youngest suspects are in their teens, the oldest in their 40s. 2 people killed on Eldridge Road in Harrison. Police say a domestic dispute turned deadly when someone pulled a gun. The first victim, Sean Foster, died late Wednesday morning. The second, Melvin Scott, who's 71, died Wednesday evening. Prison escape in Walker County. Sheriff's Office says the 2 inmates walked away from a supervised detail Wednesday at about noon. Nick Shell and David Watson missing. Deputies say they may be driving an Oldsmobile Bravada. Russell Stroud, Nuga Radio News Talk 92.7 News. Now.
Here's what advertisers are saying. Nuga Radio.
Radio station, they really care. They're always calling me probably once a week, checking on me, seeing how things go on, see if they want to change any of the ads or do anything different, see what my needs are. Got business off the ads that you do for me, and seems to be working well at this point.
Prices were very fair. Areas in this town that we aren't able to get other ways, your radio station is able to help us out, and I really appreciate that.
We've been very pleased with the services we've got.
WQ4AZ Chattanooga. Broadcasting live from the center of the universe, the Tennessee Valley's most listened to news talk station. Nuga Radio 92.7.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Steve Keith, and many of the nation's veterans are reacting to change at the top of the VA. David Shulkin is out of President Trump's cabinet, and Mr. Trump has picked his doctor, Navy Rear Admiral Ronnie Jackson, to take over. Denny Geisman is a Vietnam vet.
Maybe there can be some true good reform now, based on the fact that he's the Rear Admiral, he's a veteran, and he's a doctor.
CBS's Stephen Portnoy on a parting shot from Shulkin.
In a New York Times op-ed, former Veterans Affairs Secretary David Shulkin laments his firing, saying his last days in office proved how toxic, chaotic, disrespectful, and subversive Washington is today. He says it shouldn't be this hard to serve your country. The former hospital administrator and veteran fell into disfavor in the president's inner circle, not only for the 10-day tour of Europe he took with his wife last year at taxpayer expense, but for, in the view of many prominent conservatives, slow-walking efforts to privatize veterans' health care.
Well, President Trump's pick to be the next Secretary of State could face some tough confirmation questions. CBS's Cammie McCormick.
More than 200 former ambassadors and veteran diplomats have signed a petition asking the Senate Foreign Relations Committee to get some answers from Mike Pompeo on a number of issues. One is staffing. They say of the 9 senior leadership positions reporting to the Secretary of State, 8 are vacant, and over 50 ambassadors' posts remain unfilled. The petition says America must not retreat from global engagement. It prevents wars, and they want Pompeo's views on the way ahead.
In what could be a prelude to a North Korea-U.S. summit, Kim Jong-un will meet with South Korea's president in about a month. Asia correspondent Ben Tracy spoke with the U.S. ambassador to China, Terry Branstad.
Why does President Trump want to sit down with him? What is the goal?
A verifiable denuclearization program, something that they won't renege on as they did in the past.
Officials in Britain say the daughter of an ex-Russian spy is improving and no longer in critical condition. Both were victims of a nerve agent attack. The White House says President Trump called Roseanne Barr to congratulate her for the successful TV reboot of The Roseanne Show.
Are you ever sorry we got married?
Every second of my life.
18 million people watch. Politics is part of it. Roseanne is a Trump supporter. Her sister on the show is not. There's sadness on baseball's opening day. Former big leaguer Rusty Staub, who delighted fans for 23 seasons, has died. He starred for the New York Mets in his only World Series in 1973. Rusty Staub was 73 years old. Wall Street, the Dow is up 274 points. This is CBS News.
Progressive will compare rates for you so you get the best deal, even if it's not with us, saving you time and money. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
Do you owe the IRS more than $10,000 in taxes? The government now has tax debt relief programs in place, and you have rights. Call tax representation today. Join satisfied clients like Victoria.
I owe the IRS $32,000. They accepted $300.
She saved $31,700. Leroy owed $21,000.
The IRS accepted $500, and I saved $20,500.
Results may vary, but tax representation can help you. Has the IRS threatened to freeze your bank accounts, take your home, your cars, and garnish your wage? You don't have to fear the IRS any longer if you call tax representation. We are the industry experts with negotiating with the IRS, and one of the very few that has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Will contact the IRS the same day, putting a stop to bank levies and wage garnishments. Call the tax representation hotline at 800-295-1046. Call 800-295-1046 today. That's 800-295-1046.
We've been told to stay off our phones behind the wheel. But CBS's Allison Keyes says it appears few are listening.
AAA's Tamara Johnson says
80% of drivers report that they believe distracted driving is on the rise.
She says that tops other dangerous behaviors such as aggressive, drugged, and drunk driving. Almost half of drivers have talked on a handheld phone, and nearly 35% have sent a text or email. Emil says texting while driving is hazardous.
I've been rear-ended twice by people texting and driving.
He says people should focus on what they're doing. Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
Well, they just got to the International Space Station last week, and already astronauts Drew Feustel and Ricky Arnold are hard at work. The two floated outside today to install new antennas, replace a bad camera, and remove jumper cables from a leaky radiator. It all got started late because of spacesuit trouble. One suit needed 4 tries to pass leak tests. Steve Cave and CBS News.
If you run a small Chattanooga Radio, Digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's news now.
54 alleged gangbangers rounded up in a massive RICO bust. Chattanooga police say that 54 Athens Park Bloods were arrested in the first RICO gang bust ever in Hamilton County. They're charged with a litany of crimes, including murder. Some of the evidence used in this sweeping arrest date back to 2014, when the Violence Reduction Initiative was first introduced. The youngest suspects are in their teens, the oldest in their 40s. 2 people killed on Eldridge Road in Harrison. Police say a domestic dispute turned deadly when someone pulled a gun. The first victim, Sean Foster, died late Wednesday morning. The second, Melvin Scott, who's 71, died Wednesday evening. Prison escape in Walker County. Sheriff's Office says the 2 inmates walked away from a supervised detail Wednesday at about noon. Nick Shell and David Watson missing. Deputies say they may be driving an Oldsmobile Bravada. Russell Stroud, Nuga Radio News Talk 92.7 News now.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nuga Radio 92.7 FM. Nuga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM knows your opinion is important. So call 800-8949. Agree or disagree. Call 423-800-8949. 800-8949. Nuga Radio 92.7 FM and 95.3 HD4. News Talk Nuga Radio.